If I make that 6, now it solved for value of z that solves for that. How about if I want it for x? Obviously, initially everything is solved for, but I want to solve for x when z is 1. You've seen that the input cell for z is highlighted with a pink automatically. That way you don't make a mistake. That's the reason. Otherwise, it's just coloring. Whenever you do a spreadsheet, everything you do should have a purpose, especially coloring. You can tell a lot of stories using with just colors or stuff like that. And this is actually done using what I call what Excel calls conditional formatting. The way you change it with double click, it requires just a little macro. I'm going to actually show you guys how to do it. But if you use this spreadsheet as your starter, all of that is already in there. And whatever you do, all you have to do is tell Excel what to do if a certain named range is double clicked on. If I double click here, nothing happens. But if I double click here, it goes to setup mode. Let me change that. Double clicking puts it into solver mode again. Boom, it's solved for you. This could have been a very complicated problem. For example, on Wednesday on my Finance 301 class, we're going to solve the following problem. And it's going to take us, after putting the inputs in, value of the inputs in, probably 5 seconds, depending upon how quickly you enter some stuff. And here's the problem. You're 20 years old, you're going to work till you're 60, so you're going to save money for 40 years. Your grandma left you about $5,000, so you're starting with 5,000. You're going to start with a certain amount of saving that we don't know yet on the first month. After that, every month you're going to increase that amount with a certain percentage. Let's call it 0.1%, or annually maybe 1.5%. While you're saving, you probably will invest into some risky stuff like stock market. You think you can earn 8% a year after inflation. Once you retire, you want to collect, in an inflation adjusted terms, $5,000 a month for 25 years. After 25 years, if you're not dead already, you're going to bribe your grandkids because you're going to leave them $3 million to euthanize you. Trust me, those extra years when you're 85 are not that good. Those are the shitty years. That's one of the reasons I don't quit smoking. I don't want to live from 85 to 95, or depending upon the case, 95 to 105. Uh, so you know what you want. You want $5,000 a month for 25 years, and you also want those salaries. You want to start with 5,000. You want that salary to grow 5% a year. Okay. As you get older, your needs for healthcare expenditures increase, but you still want to leave $3 million to your grandkiddos or to some charity. Doesn't matter. Okay. So you know what you want. And while you're in retirement, you're not going to invest into risky stuff. So you'll earn only maybe 3%. Okay. Government bonds or investment grade bonds or something like that. Given all of that, the question is, what is your first monthly savings? Algebraically, solving that is not that complicated. It's going to take you, depending upon how bad your handwriting is, 1 or 2 pages. Okay. I'm a surgeon with algebra, but I can make a mistake. I can get the formula right when I'm coding in an Excel. I can make a mistake. Why bother? All I need to know is I need to be able to calculate present value of a growing annuity, okay? For which we're going to have a user-defined function, which means if I start with a certain amount, I grow that at a certain rate every year. How much money am I going to have in 40 years? Well, if I know the future value, I can calculate present value. So those things are easier. As long as I can put that in here, the rest is not a problem. I can ask the following question. Okay, I can only afford saving $100 the first month. How long it's going to take me to reach my desired goal? I want to be at a certain point so that I can afford $5,000 a month. Or how much can I leave to my grandkiddos if I can save only $100 the first month? Again, these questions algebraically, they are solvable if you had a good algebra teacher. But why? That's not civilized. As long as I can get it done here, somebody who tells me the right number with algebra versus the seeker, I'm going to actually rename that. I'm going to call it Seek Nova because kind of stuff that you can do with is explosive. Okay, it changes the way you think about stuff. It creates new elements. That's what a supernova does. Any element that is heavier than iron cannot be created inside a star unless it goes supernova. That's why things like gold, silver, uranium, they're rare. Because for a star to be able to go supernova, it has to be of a certain mass, minimum. That's, I think, 2.1 solar masses. Sun is not going to go supernova. I mean, it's going to become a red giant, probably swallow Earth in about 4 billion years, so don't worry about it. There's time. But some other stars, for example, Betelgeuse, the guy at the left shoulder of Orion, that is already a red hypergiant. That guy is going to go supernova in the next 10,000 years or so. It could be tomorrow. We're not exactly sure how to calculate that yet. If that happens, it'll be brighter than moon for about a week. You'll be able to see it during the day. It's going to be that bright. But temperatures are so big, those elements are created. So this thing is going to be able to create other elements in you, okay? You'll be able to handle complicated problems. For example, we're going to do certain things later during this class. We're going to calculate pricing for cross-currency interest rate swaps, where you have one loan that is designated in euros with fixed rates. You have another loan that's not designated, denominated in Swiss francs, but with floating rates. You want to convert the fixed euro loan into floating Swiss loan. How do you do it? You're just going to set up the problem. The problem is to figure out the swap rate that makes the net present value of the whole operation zero. All you have to know is how to calculate the net present value. The rest, Excel is going to do it for you. If I change one of the inputs, it's going to automatically solve what you need. That's going to make life very easy. You still have to understand what you're doing, but that's all I need. I want you to understand, okay, this is how a cross-currency interest rate swap works. You don't have to be the math wizard to figure out what the swap, what the market swap rate should be. This is going to do it for you. It's a calculator. What's the difference? I mean, you have financial calculators. They're horrible. And, try doing a swap calculation in a financial calculator. Unless you're a really surgeon with that, it's going to be hard. We don't have that problem here. All you know is if these are the inputs, that's the output. I want to make that output zero by changing the thing that I don't know. And you choose what is that thing that you don't know. That's all you need. That's a different way of thinking about mathematics. Basically, I am going to teach you one tool, how to write your equation in an initial form, x minus 3 equals 0. Okay? If you can write that, you can solve x minus 3 equals 0. Or in this case, x cubed plus y cubed minus z cubed equals 5. If you can write that, you can solve that equation. You don't have to worry about anything else. All right? So reduce the problem to things you can write here. That's all you need. That is mathematics. If you want to do it algebraically, be my guest. That's your business. I mean, I am a surgeon with mathematics and higher level calculus. I prefer this. Why? Because I'm less likely to make a mistake here. That's all I need to know. And we're going to do some complicated problems using this. And you're going to see how easy that is. We're going to even do our cross-currency calculations, which is always a nightmare in this class. If I tell you the exchange rate between euro and Australian dollar, I'm sorry, euro and US dollar, and US dollar and Australian dollar, what should be the exchange rate between euro and Australian dollar?